the book at these 6 cops without any evidence whatsoever that they did that they intentionally committed a second-degree depraved heart murder, involuntary manslaughter, second-degree assault. What do you mean second-degree assault? They didn't assault the guy. They arrested him. Involuntary manslaughter. So this means now the drug dealers are free to ply their trade in Baltimore. The big winners here are the street-level drug dealers. This is a victory for the drug peddlers in Baltimore and around America. This means that cops across America will no longer arrest drug peddlers for fear that it'll be another Freddie Gray. So drug dealing is now rampant in America. In essence, Obama, through his stooge, whatever her name is, I don't remember her name. Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby. This stooge has now done the work that drug dealers have been wanting to be done for decades. It's now wonderful for a drug dealer. Their stock just went up. In fact, if there was a stock, DDI, Drug Dealers Incorporated, I would invest in it today because their business is going to boom. DDI, I'd put money into DDI. I'd invest 10 grand in DDI right now because this stock's going to boom. If you were a cop, would you arrest a low-grade drug dealer? Would you? Would you dare try it? They know the game. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, I need medical help. Oh, take me to the hospital. Oh, the police abused me. Yep, KFAY Radio. Amy, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hi, Dr. Savage. Basically, I just wanted to bring to your attention the fact that Hillary Clinton just not even a week ago had a speech about how she was advocating for women's rights and how, you know, her mom and her grandparents had fought and she said the words, "It's our time" for women. I get correlation with what the Baltimore DA said, and she basically said the same type of thing. It's your moment. It's our time. Our time is now.
It's coming out of central casting. In other words, all these speeches from the illiberal Democrat machine.
Well, you know, you never want to waste a crisis, right?
Well, this is not. You know, you're right, but it's not a laughing matter. Six lives are ruined now.
It's a nervous laughter. I'm scared to death. I'm 37. I have 3 kids. It scares me what kind of country my kids have.
Well, this is what you get when you have a lawless president. I said that on Monday. I'll go right back to my notes because I still have them, and I have them right here. Please bear with me. Law and order. And I said, with a lawless president, what did you expect to happen? With a lawless attorney general, a lawless Democrat party, a party that makes up laws and disregards others, what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen? The city burned because of them. The cops were basically told to stand down. They had no body armor. They were intimidated by Holder's FBI, who said they were monitoring the situation, meaning watching that the police didn't do their job. And so the fact of the matter is, the police are now the victims. Police are now the victims. So we've got a very bad situation on our hands right now. KSFO, San Francisco, Lewis, welcome to the program. Go ahead, please.
Hey, thanks, Doc. I just wanted to say, the attorney that gave to the prosecutor in this case, he was on a TV show. HBO did a series called The Wire. Took place in Baltimore. Showed you basically, it showed you the drug trade, showed you how rampant it was, but it also got into the political side of things, how people become mayors and everyone has a career, and they're all trying to advance their career. And this is, I swear, Doc, right after The Sopranos, The Wire was one of the best shows on TV. I implore you to check it out. But
I've watched the show, but what's the connection between The Wire and this?
Oh, it's almost straight out of The Wire, the way that she's taken this opportunity, that another young man died, and she's going to take this opportunity for self-aggrandizement, and like you said, she sounds like she's got political ambition.
She wants to be the congresswoman from Maryland, or God knows, she could be a U.S. senator with this case.
And this is how senators and congress people, this is how they're made. This is career.
See, it doesn't matter to her whether she's not after justice. not by identifying with the protester. She already biased the case sufficiently for any defense attorney for the cops to have this case thrown out. There's no way they're going to be found guilty, according to what I see.
No, you're 100% right, Doc, and that's why.
But see, it doesn't matter to her whether they're found guilty. What matters is that she has now put herself on a pedestal to the mobs in the streets of Baltimore. I think that's what you're saying.
Absolutely no.
She's now their hero. She is now their hero because she did to the cops what they've always wanted to do. And so it doesn't matter whether she wins or loses, she's already won.
And I'm just as a young black man sitting here watching this unfold in front of my eyes, I have to shake my head because, again, we lose the thread of the conversation, the real issue that needs to be talked about. Again, just completely gets skirted over because she's taking this opportunity to make herself look good.
Right. Absolutely. She did it strictly for her own political future. However, it could backfire on her, by the way. Once it comes out that the attorney for the deceased is a personal friend, someone who gave her $5,000, someone who was on her transition committee, once it is shown that her bias is evident, I suspect this could backfire on her. She is so naive that her handlers think that they can move her up and further up the ladder because of this. They're liable to find out the opposite is true. Although in America, anything is possible. Look who became president. Take a look at who became president, so I wouldn't look for justice in Baltimore. But don't you agree with me that the trial will have to be moved out of Baltimore to be fair to the police? How can they get a fair trial in Baltimore when there's a lynch mob? How are they ever going to get a fair trial? And it has to be moved out of Baltimore, probably to another state altogether. And this woman herself, in my opinion, should be disbarred for what she's just done. But good luck doing it in Baltimore, Maryland. She indicted the entire police force. She did it in 3 or 4 days, which unto itself is ridiculous. Miscarriage of justice, rush to judgment, okay? How many different ways to Sunday do I have to tell you? This whole case stinks to high heaven. And many questions remain about her after this charge sheet was brought against the officers. Their lives are ruined. Their families will have to leave the city. She destroyed police forever in Baltimore. And she did it strictly because she's an ambitious politician and nothing more and nothing less than that. And that's one man's opinion, by the way. 855-400-7282. WDRC Radio. Brian, make your point. Fire away.
Michael, I'm enjoying your analysis of the DA's comments, but I don't think you're taking this far enough, your conclusion. These police officers probably won't go to trial for at least a year, probably a year and a couple of months. They want an acquittal. We know that Valerie Jarrett's been in contact with the mayor of Baltimore. So what's going to happen if they're acquitted around Labor Day of 2016 or October 2016? You're going to have Rodney King-esque riots throughout the country in the middle of a presidential election.
In other words, once the officers are vindicated and the case is thrown out, the cities will burn again.
Exactly. In the middle.
Wait, so how does that help the Democrats?
It'll help drive up their vote. It'll make the Republicans that are already cowards even more so and say, oh, yes, we have to nationalize police procedures and this, that, or the other thing, and give more power to a police state, a centralized government, which Obama will help.
Well, I remain an eternal optimist. I think the opposite will happen, given the history of this situation in America. I believe that the white voter who has sat on the sidelines feeling that both parties are the same, should there be such civil disobedience or riots, whichever you want to call them, I believe that the tens of millions of whites who don't vote will come out and vote against the Democrat liberal machine once and for all. I think that could happen just as well. But I thank you for, advancing the conversation to the 2016 election, Brian. And let me please send you a copy of my book, Countdown to Mecca, coming out in a week. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN. Let me close by saying that this was a very shockingly surprising announcement of charges against all the police, because cases like this generally take months for an investigation to occur before any charges are brought, if at all. So there's no question in my mind that this was a rush to judgment by a politically ambitious district attorney who did not conduct due process for the police. And it's a very dangerous precedent for anybody, black or white, in this country. Eric in Kansas on KINA Radio. Eric, go ahead, fire away. You're on the Savage Nation.
Well, Brother Savage, I hear you, but this is the kind of judgment that's happening all the time in our community, and the only ones that get to wait for months and years of investigation is when it comes to the police. But
all right, you make a fair point, so let me ask you this. How about the fact that Marilyn Mosby is totally tied into the Gray family attorney? Don't you think that raises questions?
No, because I'm sure...
No, he gave her $5,000 for her campaign.
But her being an attorney, how many other attorneys in that area paid to her campaign? She's a politician that ran for an office. She probably knows every politician in the city. All right. Well, that'll have to be looked into. But since it smacks of favoritism and steering a case to an attorney who contributed to her campaign, don't you think it would be better for your community to have a case tried by someone with less of a stench coming off of her? I don't see the stench. All I see is, first of all, what we're looking for.
Come on, Eric, let's be clear. Do you actually think those 6 cops purposely killed him?
I don't know that. I don't know if they did or didn't. I think.
No, come on. Look, you sound like a reasonable guy. You've got your grievances, and I get that. But do you really think 6 cops would purposely kill a guy like this in a van?
Well, and I tell you what, I didn't think that I'd ever see in 2014 or 2015 an officer just take 6 or 7 shots at a man running away from him and blow him away. But I did. I'm seeing it every day. And
no, wait a minute. They didn't shoot this man. No one took a shot at him. He's a known drug peddler. He obviously was dealing drugs. They caught him. He threw the drugs away. No one's justifying his death, but why would you ruin the lives of 6 men on such a spurious case with such a biased district attorney, Eric? It's not good for your own community to have such a nakedly political district attorney rushing to judgment and lynching the cops. That's my opinion. But look, not everyone's going to agree or disagree on this. Eric, thank you for listening so carefully. Unfortunately, I'm flat out of time. It's the Savage Nation. Thank you very much for listening. With God's will and your listenership, I shall return.
Savage.